Hello everyone, my name is Brianna and today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on these adorable crochet and embroidered frocks. What you need for this project is some yarn. This is the brand that I usually get. And then a crochet hook. I use 2.75 milliliters. And the needle that I use has a slightly bigger hole so that you can put the yarn on through it, plus the embroidery thread that you need. And then we'll also need the little beaded eyes. And now we are going to make a slip knot. And start by making 4 chains. So yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. And then we're going to put our hook into the very first chain. And then we slip stitch, so yarn over and then pull through both. And then chain 1. Then we'll make our first single crochet. So put your yarn through the middle of that chain, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over and pull through both stitches. And then we're going to put a stitch marker right on that first stitch. Now we are going to make 5 more of those, so we have 6 total. So into the center, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Do that until you have 6 stitches total. Once you got 6 stitches on, take off the stitch marker, and then we're going to connect both of the stitches. So you're going to put your hook through the first stitch that you made, and then we're going to slip stitch them together. So yarn over, pull through, and pull through both stitches. And you're done with the first row. So put your stitch marker back on that slip stitch right there you just made. Now we are going to start on our second row. So yarn over, chain 1. And now we are going to do 2 single crochets in every 6 single crochet. So I put my hook through the first single crochet and put one single crochet through, and then put my hook through the same stitch and do another single crochet. So hook through that second single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to do that again in the same stitch. So there's 2 in every single crochet on this row. You're going to put 2 single crochets. So by the end of the row you should have 12. And then when you get to the end of the row, you take out your stitch marker and then slip stitch both of the ends together. And then put your stitch marker right into that slip stitch you just did. For this next row, you're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So chain 1 and then 2 single crochets in that first stitch. Now in this next stitch, you're only going to do 1 single crochet. And then you're going to do another 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. And then for this next stitch, you're going to do just 1 single crochet. And then another double stitch in this next stitch. And you just keep up with this pattern of a double stitch in 1 stitch and then a singular stitch in another stitch, and then another double and then another single. And slip stitch both the ends together, and then put the stitch marker into that slip stitch. Now chain 1, and then we're going to do another double in this next stitch. Now a single stitch, another single stitch, and then another double stitch. So 2 single crochets in that stitch. And now we just continue with that pattern of 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then for the next 2 stitches it's just 1 crochet, 1 single crochet. So double, single, single, double, single, single. Now for this row, we're just going to do one single crochet in every single stitch until we meet the end of the row. And then at this point, I like to pull the little tail into the center, so it's not sticking out of the bottom of the foot. For round 2, we're going to do another row of 1 single crochet in every single stitch. And you just continue doing this until you reach the leg length that you want, and then I'll meet you back when I'm done with the leg. Now I got the leg length that I want, so we're just going to tie it off. Now go back to the beginning of this video to repeat for the other side, and then I'll meet you back when you have both legs made. Now that we have both legs made, we're going to slip stitch them together. And then we put the stitch marker right into that slip stitch. Now this is the beginning of our first row on the body. Chain 1 and then single crochet. Just continue single crocheting, and then you're also going to connect it to the other leg and start single crocheting from that stitch on the other side of the stitch marker. Once you get to the end, take out the stitch marker and then slip stitch where the stitch marker used to be. And then put your stitch marker back into where that slip stitch is you just did. And we start on the next row of single crochet all the way around. Then slip stitch to connect. I noticed a little piece that needed to be cut off. Just a little string sticking out. So then you just keep doing rows of single crochet until you get the amount of body that you want to embroider on. Now I made the amount that I'm planning on embroidering on, and we now start with the embroidery. So just pull out enough yarn so that it doesn't unravel, and then we'll put the yarn away and put the hook down for right now. And now we start threading the needle and then knotting the end. Once you made the knot at the end of the thread, just poke your needle right where you want to start the embroidery. To make the circle of the sun, we're going to just be pulling in and out, but poking back up through that last stitch that you did. So you go back in and then you go back up through that one last stitch that you did. And then you just continue that until you made a circle. And to tie off, you just slip the needle through one of the backs of the stitches. And then just loop the needle around that circle and then pull tight to pull a knot through. And now we start with the red thread and we do the exact same thing but in the shape of a triangle for the sun pokies. Then just continue doing that all the way around and then do the other side and then we're done. Now that we finished the embroidery, we're just going to keep crocheting up until you get the height that you want. Now that you got the height that you wanted, we're going to start crocheting the arms. For right now, just cut the body loose from the yarn ball, and then we're going to use that to start with the arms. So just like with the legs, we're going to start with a chain of 4 and then slip stitch to connect. chain 1, then put into the center and start off with your first single crochet, and then we'll put the stitch marker right there. And then keep going until you have 6 single crochet on that loop, and then slip stitch to connect. And then just like last time, we're going to put 2 single crochets in every single one of the 6, so you'll have 12 at the end of the row. Do another double in 1 stitch, and then after that, just like last time, it's another just single in the next stitch, then another double in 1 stitch, and then a single in 1 stitch, and repeat that until the end. then chain 1 and then do a double in that same stitch. And then for the next 2 stitches, you're just going to do a single. So for this stitch, it's going to be 1. And then for this stitch, it's going to be 1. And then for the next stitch, it's another double, and then keep following that pattern. And I like to pull the little tail in. Chain 1, and then this row is just 1 single crochet in every single stitch. Just keep working your way up until you get the length of arm that you want. I usually measure it to my last one that I made. Once that one's done, you go ahead and make the other arm. Now go ahead and tie both of them off, and we'll stuff them and attach them to the body. this stuffing, I usually like to use yarn scraps. We thread the needle with the yarn, and then we're gonna close it up. Now that it's threaded and knotted, we're gonna close it up. Make sure you start with the needle on the inside so that the knot is on the inside of the yarn. And then I just start threading the needle back and forth until it's closed. Once that's closed up, I'll start attaching it to the body. I usually go about 5 rows down from the body and then attach it to where more towards the front or to the back, however you want it to be. So just thread the needle from the back, or actually, I messed up. We're going to thread it from the front, from wherever you want it on the body. Just make sure that you start stitching on that row only that you already attached the yarn to. sure both of the corners of the arm are sewed tightly down. Now tie off the thread just like I've shown you before. And then I just stuff the rest of the thread down in there. And go ahead and do the other side. Now that we finished both arms, we're going to do the smiley face. So thread a knot the needle and then pull through from the inside. And then every single stitch you're going to pull out, then pull back into the inside, and then come back out in the middle of the last stitch. And then continue that until you have your smiley face. Once you're done, just knot off the thread. trying to stuff him. And like I said, I had to use extra yarn scraps. I really like to make sure I make them nice and stiff, but if you want them more floppy, you can do that too. Now retie the yarn back to the ball of yarn. I like to do a double knot to make sure it's nice and tight. And then I decided I want a little bit more length to him, so I'm going to do a few more rows. If you want to, you can. If you don't want to, and like how it is, you can stop where you are now and then just wait until we close them up. Now that he is the size that I want, we're going to crochet all the way to the halfway point. So right where I'm pointing right there, we crochet till there. get to the halfway point, we're gonna pinch him close and then just sew him up. So we're gonna slip stitch every single stitch. I needed to do one more single crochet first. So I'm gonna pinch him closed. And then just poke your needle through, hook through, then yarn over, pull through, and then just continue that until he's fully stitched up. Now that he is all stitched up, I just like to squish him up so that the stuffing is all nice and even throughout him. And then we're gonna tie him off. I also like to make sure I weave in the ends, just at least once or twice. And now we are ready to start the eyes. So just like with the feet and the hands, we're gonna start with a chain of 4 and then slip stitch. And then we're gonna do another 6 single crochet around that loop. Now we chain 1, and then we're gonna do double stitches in every single stitch, so 12 total at the end. chain 1, and then double in 1 stitch. And then a single one in another stitch. And then a double in the next stitch, and then a single one in the next stitch, and just continue that pattern. Now chain 1, and then we're going to do a double in the next stitch. And then a single. And then another single stitch. And then another double. And then continue that pattern till the end. And now I do 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way around. Pull in the tail. And then the second row of 1 single crochet in every single stitch. And then we do a third row of 1 single crochet in every single stitch. Once that's done, we're going to add the eye on this row. So we're going to crochet to the halfway point and then add the eye right there. So right where I'm pointing, crochet till there. Okay, now we set the eye right on top of that stitch. We make sure we pull it tight, and then we bring the hook into the next stitch. Just make sure you're holding on nice and tight. And then we're going to slip stitch, and then we're going to single crochet all the way to the stitch marker. And now slip stitch. And then we do one more row before we add the back on. Now to add the back, you kind of just poke it out. Make sure the flat side goes on the back, and then you just really push it until it clicks. And then we do our last row. the eye is done, all you have to do is just stuff it. And then we sew it right onto the body. So we thread our needle with the yarn and then knot off the end. And all we do is just keep crisscrossing the needle back and forth through the eye, the body, and the other side of the eye until it's nice and tight. And then we knot it off. I like to cross the yarn back and forth just to make sure it's woven in, and then I cut it off. Now he's all done. We just gotta put the bow on. So we thread the yellow onto our needle, and then we just cross behind one of the stitches and pull the thread through. And then just start to make your bow. Once I get it perfect, I just cut off the ends. And now your crochet frog is done. I hope you liked the tutorial. Thank you for being patient with my first YouTube tutorial. If you're interested in me doing a tutorial for any of these other crochet creatures, please let me know down in the comments which one. Also, if you had any tips to make my tutorials better, please let me know down in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and follow for more tutorials. Thank you.